Hello YouTubers! We're going to talk about broccoli and how you grow broccoli on the west coast of British Columbia. Brassicas, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, etc. It's a real good crop here. There's a lot of wild brassicas that grow here quite naturally in the climate, so it's an ideal crop to try and grow here in that sense. But and especially this year when, as you can see, it's been, as Steve Solomon says, a good broccoli year. Lots of rain, lots of drizzle. We're sitting here June 25th, and you can see we've got some good crop. How do you do it? First off, this garden has clubroot. We bought it from some people who gardened before us and had terrible clubroot to begin with. And so obviously we've dealt with that. In addition, like all the West Coast gardens, there's root maggots that affect almost all brassicas, maybe not kale. Although it can even get in kale. And there's various other things, aphids and cabbage worms and things like that. But I would say the two biggest obstacles to growing broccoli and all brassicas here are the clubroot, if you have it, which hopefully you don't, although it's obviously quite common, and also the root maggots. So how do you deal with that? Well, the root maggots, when we plant them, we put in a square of tar paper. We have used the remay method of putting that over the top in hoops and things, but that can be quite problematic. We use tar paper. There's a fragment of it here. You just get the cheapest type of tar paper available at the store, cut a square out of it, and when you put that plant into the ground, you surround it with a square of about, a hand-sized piece of tar paper. The more expensive, thicker tar papers don't work. It's the thinnest, cheapest type of roll that does work. The other thing that's important is when you grow your starters. I'll try and show you that at the end. And I'll show you that right now. You grow them 3 or 4 feet off the ground. 3 feet off the ground. And I'll just point the camera over here. There's various starters there, including some cabbages. As long as it's 3 feet off the ground, you'll be fine, and the worms will not get in there. But once you put them in the ground, you better have your act together, and that means a square of tar paper to protect them. If it rains a lot, you might even have to replace that tar paper partway, like a month after you plant, in case it's all washed away. But the real question is, well, how do you deal with clubroot, and how do you make broccoli grow? Well, as it turns out, the soils on the west coast are very acidic. Acidity is almost all bad things unless you're growing berries. Berries like them, like acidity, but nothing else does. And the nutrients you put in your soil are all leached away. That's why we live in what they call leached soils here. They're all leached away because the soil acidity prevents the nutrients like phosphorus and potassium and nitrogen from binding to the soil. So the first thing you need to do is raise the pH of the soil to some reasonable level. 7 is basically ideal. And to do that, we actually had to add 1 bag, so 15 kilograms of lime, dolomite lime, for every 3 linear feet of these beds. So that is basically a kilogram per square foot. It sounds like a lot. You need it. You just need it. And it's a one-time thing, right? Once you get the soil acidity up or down and the pH up, you will have, it'll stay there. It won't get washed away. The nutrients bind to your soil then, and all you need to do is some maintenance the dose on some minimal level over time. But you need to get that happening in order, first, for the broccoli to grow well in the first place, and secondly, to deal with any possible clubroot issues. There's never been a case in Canada of clubroot being found on a farm that has a pH of above 8. So it's worth noting that. And if the lower your pH is, the more severe an infection is going to be. You'll read books about clubroot that will say things like, oh, it's terrible, and it's awful, and you got to do this and that, and don't grow brassicas for 7 years and hope for the best kind of crap. But then you read other books where the people mention it as a minor problem. Well, the difference is the guy that writes the book where it's a minor problem has a high pH, and the guy who writes the book with a pH of 4.8, clubroot's a horrendous problem for him. You have to deal with that. There's no other trick. I grow 2 and 3 crops of brassicas a year in many of these beds because I brought my pH up, and it works fine. I haven't seen clubroot for 12 years. If you don't deal with the pH issue, you will have real problems. So that's 2 things. You grow. I like to plant early, so I'm planting in February these things, pot them up, keep them 3 feet above the soil, put them in the ground in I don't know, I think it was April, and then you get this. So by the way, in case you're interested, the root maggots become quite active beginning of May, so you better have your act together by the beginning of May to deal with them. Anything after the 1st of May is the danger time. Before that, or after September 1st, you shouldn't have any problem with root maggots. But good broccoli like this. You can see, nice head, eh? There's a whole bunch of nice heads, but that's a particularly good one. Cut it, sell it on the stand, and that plant will produce nice side shoots as well for the remainder of the summer, as long as you keep it watered. So you can get broccoli like this, even if you have clubroot, even if you have root maggots, no problem. Raise your pH, put a square of tar paper around it, hope for a rainy year, and you'll get great broccoli. Good luck. I hope it goes well for you.